So today I've decided to review and discuss Boko Haram. Let's get right into it. Boko Haram is an Islamic militant group based in northeast Nigeria, which gained international attention for its violent insurgency and acts of terrorism. The group's official name is Jama'atu Alis Sunnah Lida Awati Wal Jahid, which translates to people committed to the propagation of the Prophet's teachings in jihad. Founded in 2002 by Muhammad Yusuf, Boko Haram opposes Western education, culture, and government structures. The name Boko Haram roughly translates to Western education is forbidden. The group seeks to establish an Islamic state governed by strict Sharia law in Nigeria and neighboring regions. Boko Haram became notorious for a series of high profile attacks, including the kidnapping of 276 schoolgirls from Chibok in 2014, which drew global outrage. Over the years, the group has carried out suicide bombings, massacres, and abductions, targeting civilians, government buildings, and military personnel. Since 2005, the group has fractured with fractured with a faction aligning itself with the Islamic State in West Africa province (ISWAP). Both factions continue to pose a significant threat in Nigeria and the Lake Chad Basin region. So, Afro, what all do you know about them?
Vessel is backstage. I think she's backstage.
Okay. Hey, Vessel, sorry about that.
What do I know? Go. Sorry, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. What do I know about Boko Haram? Okay. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I honestly do not. So Boko Haram is a group that started off wanting to clean up Islam. Islam is so dirty and filthy that it needs this group of people to come and clean it up. Clean. And so Boko Haram is not only against the other people who don't believe in Islam, but they're also against the moderate Muslims, the ones who kumbaya with everyone. Mm-mm. They want to live by the book, by the dictates of the Quran, right? And so this group was formed. But what I don't understand is how far are you going to go with this silly little group of yours, right? Apart from just rain terror on people, just cause havoc, right? What are you going to achieve? And it's the innocent people that suffer. It's the innocent young girls, innocent young children. These are the people that are suffering. I don't understand it. I honestly do not. You want to clean up Islam because your deity up there cannot do it himself. He needs you to go and clean it up. Why can't he come and do it himself? Why does this God or gods, why do they need people to help their cause? So I don't understand. There's a lot I can say, but as we go on further, then I will.
I think it's because God's not all powerful. Human beings are. Human beings created God, every word in every book, whether if we're talking about the Torah, the Bible, the Quran, human beings wrote them, came up with them, and they're that's their ideas. It's just mythology, all of it. It's just, we're picking which, well, I ain't gonna say we're because obviously I'm not, or you're not, but it's just a way of picking which form of mythology you subscribe to that you like, or another way of looking at it is you're just picking your colonizer. How do you feel, Vessel?
Yes, with this particular group, I find that they're really, really evil. They may have started out as wanting to clean up Islam, but wow, they've gone really left. unless if, not having girls attend school, marrying them off early is part of what Islam stands for, then I can't. No, it's just evil.
I don't understand it, and especially like women. I don't get how they can go along with it. Like, why would you just want to be willfully ignorant? Why would you not want to have no education? Why would you want to be treated like property? Why would you want to be treated like cattle, chattel? Either one. That both definitions fit. Like, I think that some people are just so brainwashed to believe that you were only made to serve a man. That shit is crazy. Like, I don't get it.
And with this particular group, it seems as if they just want to have a one worship system in place in Nigeria, because they even attack schools and churches. So they and with the Sharia law as well, they just overboard with everything.
I agree. And like on one hand, they complain about, oh well, they're persecuting us for our religion. Oh, they're doing this to us, and the Christians and the atheists. But on the other hand, you're attacking people and you're forcing your religion on them with the promise of death if you don't go along with it. So it just doesn't make any sense. I got a video I would like to play too. It's about 20 minutes or so. I'll stop it a few times.
Hamas, Al Qaeda. Many names might spring to mind, but for much of the 2010s, there was one correct answer: Boko Haram. Today, on A Day in History, we will look at how this small Nigerian terror group became one of the
I don't know. I guess my
deadliest
Wi-Fi.
groups and through bombings,
Let's see if I can.
massacres, and kidnappings, all while waging a war against the government. Boko Haram emerged in the early 2000s from existing Islamist groups in Nigeria. Since the 1980s, the dominant Yanizala movement has shaped Islamist politics in the country. It had strong grassroots support thanks to its itinerant preachers and teachers who spread its message of rejecting un-Islamic ideas and beliefs. These groups took aim at so-called Western institutions and practices, many of them left over from British colonization, and wanted to root them out of Nigerian society. This included things like Western-style education, medical science, democracy, Christianity, and secularism. However, Yanizala refused to engage in more militant activism in pursuit of this goal, which caused a number of splinter groups to emerge in the late 90s and early 2000s. One of those groups was named Al Sunnah wa Al Jama'ah wa Al Hijrah, meaning Group of the
Can
People
you
of
pause the
Sunnah for
video for a
Dawah
minute?
and
Can you pause the video?
Jihad in English.
Yes. Yes.
Can you go back? Go back, just very briefly. Just go back. I'll tell you when to stop. Um,
Right there.
One of those groups
that one, yeah.
More.
Stop. Oh, you gone past it. Those
it,
group of four men standing together.
This
Um,
included things like Western-style education, medical science, democracy, Christianity, and secularism. However, Yanizala refused to engage in more militant activism in pursuit of this goal, which caused a number of splinter groups.
stop. There
Right
we go.
there.
Yes. So, just looking at these faces. Hey, Anti Idiotic. Hey, NJ. Good to see you. Um,
Hello.
so the tallest man who you're looking at there was the former president of Nigeria, right? Of course, he was Muslim. The one to his right, I don't remember his name, Um, but yeah, that man in the green hat, that's the former president of Nigeria. And so here we're dealing with the people at the top. We're dealing with, these aren't just anybody. These are people that are up there. Just wanted to point that out, that that's the former president of Nigeria, the last one who just, yeah, left.
Afro, he was Muslim, right?
Yes,
And so is the current one.
yes.
And they both have not been able to do anything to stop this. Do you think that they're supporting Boko Haram's activities?
Absolutely.
Um, I, I honestly wouldn't know whether they're supporting or not. I think with this religion is there will always be a Boko Haram. The religion itself is a Boko Haram to his own people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So with or without Boko Haram, you can't escape it. You just cannot escape the evil. As we go along, I will tell you about the other things as well. You know, did you know that Nigeria has the Sharia law?
I
Do you
Yes,
did.
I
know
know that in
the
certain
government?
parts of the country, they practice
So
Sharia.
12 states in Nigeria have adopted the
Wow.
Sharia law, 12. And so most of these men here, of course, they're in support of the Sharia law, right? And so who needs a Boko Haram when you've got Sharia law?
Exactly.
True, true.
That's why I
My
think that
Maya
he
Maya
supports it.
says I never sleep. I try to sleep. I tried.
You know what I noticed too? In
What do
like
you notice?
about 10 seconds from now, they're going to show another group. Them ain't no
Mm.
Nigerians. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't see. Go on.
Let's see if I can find it.
Groups to emerge in the late 90s and early 2000s. One of those groups was
Them ain't no Nigerians. Right there. Not at all. Not close, not almost, not a little bit, not probably, not maybe. None of that.
Okay, let them say the name of the group.
Yeah, maybe that's Al Shabaab.
Yeah.
Is that Somalian, right?
Right.
named Al Sunnah wa Al Jama'ah wa Al Hijrah.
Is
What
that
the
it?
hell?
No. Oh,
Al
unless it's
Sunnah
a
wal
different one.
Jamal wal Suji. Ooh,
Unless it's a different one to Al Shabaab. There's just so many of these groups. It's
it's a power trip. This is a power trip. I've got the gun in my hand. What are you going to do?
so there was Al Qaeda, Al Shabaab, Boko Haram, um, and many others that I'm not even aware of. There's just so many of them. So
Mm.
this name is so long. Al Sunnah, Al Sunnah, wa Al Jamaa, wa Al Hijrah. I'll never be able to remember this. So
Look,
imagine being a newsreader and you've got
look
you've
at
got to
look at
report
look
on
at
this.
look at look at these people. Just have a look at them. If you took this one of these, okay, let's say, look at him on the extreme right, right? Him over there with the thing tied on his head. Take him away from this bunch, right? Him by himself. No guns, no nothing, right? Do you think that he is powerful in any way, shape, or form? Do you
No.
think that he's got anything to offer?
It's
No, these
powerless.
and they look like kids as well. They're
Yes,
very
they're
young.
very young. And so, but when they're together and they've got guns, oh, then they become powerful. This is a power trip.
What's the one that was in the Congo? Was that Islamic as well? The ones that were asking people to want short sleeve or long sleeve, as then how how much of your arm should be cut off.
I don't. Hey, cut off.
Yes, so they'll ask you, do you want a long sleeve or do you want a short sleeve? Long sleeve is they just cut off like by the wrist, and then a short sleeve that cut up above the elbow. So you just wear a short sleeve shirt.
You
I
mean
don't know
put
if
off
they
as
were
in put
Islamic.
off?
Yeah, when they it was a terror group, I think. I don't remember whether they were Muslim or if they were just. I'll Google it. I'll search it up and
Okay.
get back to you.
I've heard something about that before, but I don't know the exact uh, parameters of that, so I don't want to stumble through it. But I definitely have heard that story before.
I want you to just stop sometimes and just think that there is a God up there, right? There's a big God, big G. He's up there. This guy, this big God, creator of the universe. He created me, created you, created all these people here. But now he wants these ones to grab a gun to fight, just to create his little what is it? Is it a caliphate they're after? What are these people after? What is the end goal? So this what God wants for people? I don't know.
They're gonna kill you to prove that Allah is real. That's what they
Sorry,
doing.
that was Sierra Leone, not Congo. It was Sierra Leone. The warlords, when they
Really?
were attacking people, that's what they'd ask them.
Is it the people who listen? This is going to sound very ignorant, but the Hutsis and Tutsis, is it Hutsis and Tutsis?
Yeah, they were from what's this country? You know, the country that agreed to take refugees from the UK? Rwanda. That's Rwanda.
They cleaned up real good down there, though. I like that what they're doing.
No, Reggie, no, because part of what's happening in Congo is due to them. So,
How?
mm-mm.
I'm
And
unaware of it. I'm not saying it's not true, but how?
um, part of the war that's happening, I'll get full information and let you know. But then also, they were quick to receive money from the UK government to receive refugees. Now, the UK government is one of the governments that actively displaced governments. So when people from those countries come here to seek asylum, they're
Hmm.
basically turning them away, paying Rwanda money to how to host them instead. And Rwanda
Oh,
was like, yeah, bring them over, which is not right. That's like backstabbing your own
okay.
people. Like,
I get what you're saying. I was talking about in terms of when I say I like what they're doing. I like how they're getting rid of churches and mosques. That's what I like.
oh yeah, that bit's good. That
Wait,
bit's
did you
good. Yeah.
say getting rid of mosques? I heard about getting rid of churches. Mosques?
Hmm. Hmm.
They're
They
getting
getting
rid
rid
of
of both.
mosques too?
Yeah, they're not playing down there.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
Yeah, they're not playing.
That's
They're
interesting.
not playing. No games.
That's
They're
good.
saying get
That is
on
good.
out of here with that. That's why
Mm,
I like that part of them because they know it don't belong to them. I mean,
okay.
but that doesn't make other things that they're doing right. You know.
Absolutely.
So
That could be a deep dive, Reggie. That could
Yes.
be something we look at. Let's see what they're doing over there, and make sure to write it down, Reggie, because
yeah.
And just about that Sierra Leone information, I
right?
said I'd look up. There isn't much
Let's do that.
information about the religion of the
Mhm.
warlords, but the majority of Sierra Leone's population is Muslim or Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's possible that some of these warlords that were really brutal were Muslim.
You know something? Um, just sitting here and having these conversations makes me appreciate my privilege, right? The privilege that I have, that I live in a country where I can speak and I can, be vocal about my thoughts. Can you imagine if we were in these parts? It's no way we can speak. It's no way we can, we there'd be no chance at all. So, I mean, I'm just wanted to point out how, I appreciate the privilege that I have, and I don't take that for granted. I don't.
Right. Because I can't see myself having to sit there knowing the things I know now, right? And having to go along with people's rules that I know are a bunch of bullshit based off a book that I know don't have nothing to do with me. Nothing. And then for these people to commit these crimes that they're doing and then still think that they're going to Jannah is completely ridiculous. Completely. I don't understand that.
Reggie, Reggie, look at these. These are the ones that the 72 virgins prepared for this lot.
It makes no sense.
I mean, if I was one of them 72 virgins, I would. Excuse me? Where do you think you are going with your ugly ass self? I mean, look at them. He wants to go and get with 72 virgins. Ugh, gross.
And what you're saying about them without their guns is absolutely true. Like I'm considered skinny. Any
Mm-hmm.
one of them, any one of them, if I was to grab them by their throat,
Oh, shit.
there's no way that they could get loose. No fucking way. That just shows you the
Um,
power of a gun.
and
Mm,
also, these people live out in the bush. There's nowhere to wash. There is nowhere to wash. And they're going and kidnapping these girls from the schools and doing all sorts to them.
those girls, first, when they kidnap them, they make them convert to Islam. Anyone who doesn't convert, oh goodness, I don't know what happens to you. First, they make them convert, and then they share the girls, because the religion allows you um to get a right hand possession, right? You can take a female slave. Well, she's a prisoner of war, right? So as far as these people are concerned, they are always in war. Boko Haram, they're always in war. It's a war, all out war every single time. So anybody who's caught by them, that's their theirs to own, because their religion allows them to. So they might share, and the religion allows them to have as many right hand possessions. You can have as many. Only four wives you're allowed to have. But right hand possessions, you can have up to 100, 200. How many? Just, yeah, free for all.
Who's supplying them with those kind of weapons? They can't afford those kind of guns.
Now, that's a good question.
Hmm.
They're being
That right there
funded.
is a good question. That's a
Hmm.
good question.
That's the problem. It's no
There's a lot
different than
more
here.
to this.
It's no different than when we look at how you see the gun violence in America. Where are these
Hmm.
people getting these guns from? Where are they getting them from? I mean, obviously it's two different places, but it's crazy.
Hmm. Who is funding them? I mean, how does the group start? Oh, I've got this idea, and yeah, you come with me, you come with me, but we're going to need guns. I mean, very sophisticated. Well, they're not sophisticated people. They're not sophisticated, but the weapons are.
Hmm.
These aren't just weapons that they've just picked up from the ground. No.
Those are weapons of war. Those are AK-47s. That's why I said, like when people are like, oh, well, could you go back in olden times when, during racism and be on the plantation? I tell people all the time, you give me an AK-47 and about 4 or 5 clips, I can take any one of them bitches down. So what I'm saying is that gun is only made to kill people. It's not made for protection. It's made for murder, nothing else. And they're
Hmm.
just giving them these guns. It's crazy. But that's how you know they got an agenda. People are giving them to them. They're donating them to them because, just like Vessel said, they don't even got no place to wash their ass. So how the fuck do you got a gun like that, a fully automatic weapon?
And then they've got the
I've
chosen.
seen.
Sorry, Afra.
Go on.
And then you've got the chosen saying that uh, they had an AK-47 shot at them.
In
Please,
her dream. It was in her
honestly.
dream, remember?
No, then the other one said it. They shot an AK-47 at her husband.
Oh,
Hmm.
goodness.
Yeah.
And
Right.
hit him here, and where else she said some other place. But if a person shoots you with that gun one time, more than likely you're gonna die
Mm.
or lose a limb. So
Um, I've seen videos of weddings taking place in the desert. These men and these girls all covered up. So never mind that they're in the desert. Don't think that they're not still, um, going ahead to fulfill their desires, right? They grab girls, and the girls that they have them there as well. Because do not forget that their prophet, every battle and every place he went, he had the women them with him, right? The women were always there, steady for his needs and stuff. So these men, oh please don't think when you look at them, oh they're in the desert and they've got uh you know always a supply of everything that they need, and if they have to take it by force, they take it by force. Now there was something that started happening because the Nigerian government started going on the offensive, this Boko Haram. So um, some of them started to give up, right? Say, okay, I'm no longer a part of the Boko Haram. I put my hand up. I don't want to do it no more. So a few of them started, coming out saying, okay, I don't want to be a part. Yes, I was part of them, but now I'm no longer part of them, right? So do you know what the Nigerian government was proposing for reformed Boko Haram members? Do you know?
what?
They're offering to give them money and take them abroad and go and educate them.
Take them abroad where?
Ah,
Hey, no, 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 no,
UK,
no.
the
They
US,
better not come here.
the UK,
They
the
better
US,
not come here.
the Netherlands. Yes, this is what they're trying to get them to do. You would reform them, right? You clean them up and give them money and then take them abroad. This was
Wait
the
a minute.
proposal. They were like, what? Are you guys crazy? If someone comes along and says, okay, I was part of that group and I'm no longer part of them, that's a criminal. Listen, I don't know how far that conversation went, but it was a proposal. The government was proposing that this was the way they were trying to, um, in fact, in fact, some, um, what you call them, some of the governors, you would see there are videos of meetings between um the people who were once Boko Haram, who are no longer Boko Haram, and now the government is trying to form, trying to show like, okay, we are doing something, right? These are the people that were once part of the group, they're no longer part of the group. Look what we're doing, we're giving them tools, we're giving them things, we're giving them. So I don't understand the government itself, right? Boko Haram, in this fight for to eradicate Boko Haram, the government itself has not got its act together. So if you go there and you get them, what next? Are you prepared to make them prisoners? Are you prepared to try them? There's nothing that says an ex Boko Haram member has to go to jail, right? They're not well, they're considered terrorists, but when they are caught, then what next? What happens next? This is a question that I have. But to say that you want to go and reform them, give them money, and take them abroad, I'll see if I can find some information about that so that I'm not talking out of my behind. Always have to back up everything you're saying.
Right, because I'm wondering, like, okay, so just imagine that proposal to the United States. Just imagine that. Like, oh, here goes some ex Boko Haram Islamic terrorist members. Can they come to your country? They gonna be
Listen,
like, fuck
by the time
no.
by the time they're coming to your country, they've already been cleaned up. By the time they're coming to your country, they're no longer ex Boko Haram. These people are now, oh, we've cleaned them up. We've, got them, good clothes and get them to. I think sending them abroad was a way of trying to get rid of them. Let them become somebody else's problem. I guess. I don't know. I
Do
don't
you hear
know.
how bad they complaining now about the people that's seeking asylum here? Haitians, Venezuelans. Do you see how bad they're
They're
complaining?
eating. They're eating the
Every
cats
one of
and the
them.
dogs.
This,
No.
yeah, every one of them to the people here are gang members. You can't tell me they're not gang
Mm,
members, and you can't tell
mm-mm.
me they don't practice voodoo. So again, just imagine that's your proposal. Like, oh please, United States, can you please take our ex criminals, please? These are criminals, please take them. They're
No.
gonna be like, hell no.
I don't think they would do a proposal. I don't think they'll even mention the fact that these are former terrorists. They wouldn't.
Bet not.
They'll
Bet
just
not.
say we've got delegates or we've got, I don't know, some. They won't mention it. They wouldn't. They wouldn't, because otherwise they'll not get in anywhere.
Hell no.
I'm sure Dubai and other UAE countries will not take them either.
Unless they want them to go pick some pearls.
But this is the thing. Have you heard any of the Arab nations coming out to publicly condone um, the activities of Boko Haram? Have you
No.
heard them coming up to say, we do not stand for this? This is not part of us.
No, because they want that shit to spread. They want their message spread. They want Islam at any cost to spread throughout the world, just
And
like
you know
Christianity.
what, Reggie? It's happening in Africa. It's not happening on their doorstep. Therefore, they don't care. They don't care. The Bilals can unalive themselves. They
Mm.
don't care. They're
Reggie,
not bothered.
can you remove me from the big screen? There you go. That's it. There.
I'm about to push play on this anyway. I forgot all about the video. I'm tripping. Did you find what you was looking for, Afro?
I'm still looking.
Okay.
Meaning group of the people of Sunnah for Dawah and Jihad in English. Sunnah is the Muslim term for the traditions and practices established by the Prophet Muhammad. Dawah is the sacred duty to convert others to Islam, while Jihad, which probably needs no introduction,
I'm not liking this today.
meant in this context an active fight to expand Islam and destroy its enemies. Before long, the Nigerian media had another nickname for them, Boko Haram, a name which can be translated as Western civilization is forbidden. Boko Haram was fully established as an independent group by a former Yanizala member named Muhammad Yusuf in 2003. Yusuf took a harder line against Western ideas than other Muslim leaders and set himself up as an antagonist to the secular Nigerian state. This boiled over to violence in December 2003, when some of Yusuf's followers clashed with Nigerian security forces in the town of Kanama. This had a radicalizing effect on his followers and convinced many of them that the government was its enemy. There were several attacks by Boko Haram on police stations around the country in 2004, which led the Nigerian government to crack down and kill over 24 Boko Haram members, and forced its leaders to flee the country. The years between 2004 and 2008 was something of a dormant phase for Boko Haram. They committed a handful of hit-and-run attacks on Nigerian security services, but never enough to provoke a full crackdown or fully reveal themselves. During this time, many of its leaders, including Yusuf, traveled abroad to study with other radical groups, learning methods and ideas that would
Sorry.
transform Boko Haram from a minor nuisance into a powerful threat. 2009 proved to be the fracture point, although sources disagree on what exactly caused the crisis to break out. One story goes that on June 11th, a convoy of Boko Haram members were riding motorbikes between the towns of Biu and Maiduguri when they were confronted by police. Apparently, the Boko Haram members weren't wearing helmets, and after the police tried to make them, a fight broke out, which left people on both sides wounded. Yusuf and his followers interpreted this as an attack and launched a wave of revenge violence on police and security services. Others claim that a Nigerian police operation, codenamed Operation Flush, designed to root out Boko Haram, prompted the group's vengeance. In the second half of July, Boko Haram militants launched a number of terror attacks on police stations and military targets across northeastern Nigeria. On July 26th, 70 Boko Haram militants raided a police station in the city of Bauchi, which caused a firefight that stretched on for hours and left more than 30 people dead. Fighting in the town of Maiduguri claimed more than 100 lives as Nigerian forces cracked down on terrorist bases there. The Nigerian forces generally got the better of their enemy during the fighting. Their big victory came on July 30th, when they captured Yusuf and a number of the group's other leaders after fighting in Maiduguri. However, shortly after capturing them, they were executed by the police. Destroying the leadership temporarily scattered Boko Haram, but the extrajudicial killing of their leader galvanized the group. Authorities largely believed they had dealt with Boko Haram by killing Yusuf. But a few months later, the group re-emerged under the leadership of Abu Bakr Shekau, who promised the world that Boko Haram's campaign was only just beginning.
So I just had a question for you, Afro. Were you there then, or were you in the UK around that time?
What time was it?
Around '05? I think that's
2004.
the last.
I think I was already in the UK by then.
I
Yeah, I
just
think I
was
was already
wondering.
in the UK.
I would
I'm sure
like
it was
to
big.
bet. I would like to bet $100 that none of these guys know how to speak Arabic.
Mm,
They only know Quranic Arabic, but they cannot speak like conversational Arabic.
I would
right.
make that bet too. At least in
Mm,
the 70 or 80 percentile, don't for sure.
No, all of them. Because do you know what? There are now Arabic speakers there that are part of them.
but
That's
do you
true.
know, this is something new that I just, found out. It's something, it's new information that's come to me about Islam, right? I knew that Islam was in Arabic, but I didn't know that, you know, you couldn't pray it in your mother tongue. You couldn't pray it in your other language. It has to be Islam. Sorry, it has to be Arabic, right? And I don't know, why would
Yeah,
anyone do that to themselves? Why would you do that to yourselves?
Why would you
I thought,
believe it? Why would you believe it? Just based off that, that lets me know that God, Allah, he's fucking stupid. There's human beings smarter than him. There's people that know all kinds of languages. There's Africans that know like 10 different languages. So that right then and there, he's completely useless.
the thing is, the prayers are, you're just repeating the same thing over and over again.
Mm,
So you don't even need to know what you're praying or what you're saying. You just need to cram the words and say in the correct order. That's it. So you don't even have the so-called personal relationship with this God where you can pour your heart out. It's just it's systematic. It's like, doing the prayer before you go to the toilet and then going in with your left leg and then before you sleep, before you have intercourse, before it's these people are robots.
mm,
It's
mm.
robotic.
It is. It is.
You know what it reminds me of? It's like when you go over somebody else's house and like their families are from another country, like their grandmother or something like that. And it don't matter if you know what the fuck you talking about. As long as you can say it so she can understand it or he can understand it. How you doing? That's good. Again, back to my point. Allah, he only understands Arabic, so therefore he's not all knowing. He don't know shit.
I agree with you, Reggie. I agree.
Since 2009, the Nigerian authorities have been locked in a bitter war with Boko Haram. Although based in Borno State in northeastern Nigeria, Boko Haram's violence has spread to nearby regions and has also crossed the border into neighboring Niger, Cameroon, and Chad. The conflict has been long and bloody, but it is worth highlighting a few key episodes that show the danger Boko Haram poses. Rather than a conventional military conflict, the insurgent nature of Boko Haram means that the fighting has been mostly sporadic, initiated either by government raids or Boko Haram terror attacks with specific goals. In September 2011, the group flexed its strength with a bold attack on a government prison in Bauchi. The scale and coordination needed to pull off the attack were impressive, not to mention the fact that it succeeded. Boko Haram released over 700 prisoners, of which at least 100 were members of their group, and killed many guards. This ability to strike protected government buildings and overcome well-armed security forces set the tone for later attacks. Both Boko Haram and the Nigerian military have been accused of scorched earth tactics and massacres during their conflict. They have also both been criticized for collateral damage during military operations. Some of the worst examples of this occurred in the village of Baga during fighting there in April 2013. After Boko Haram members attacked a nearby military post, the military stormed and razed the village where the militants were hiding. Meanwhile, Boko Haram was accused of killing civilians to cover up their escape and implicate the military. Over 200 civilians were killed, and the village was all but destroyed, leaving thousands injured or homeless. Boko Haram's campaign of violence has therefore put countless Nigerians in danger, either through direct attacks or by turning their communities into battlefields. The Nigerian military's own aggressive response has not helped matters. As a result, on top of the thousands of deaths, an estimated 2.5 million people have been displaced by the ongoing conflict. Most of the victims of Boko Haram's violence have been civilians, not soldiers. Taking inspiration from other Islamist groups, Boko Haram has made bombing a key part of its terror campaign. Bombing emerged early as a strategy. A coordinated bomb attack in multiple locations across the country on Christmas Eve 2010 claimed almost 40 lives, and was perhaps the first major bomb attack committed by the group. These bombs were placed strategically at crowded areas, such as markets and churches, to maximize casualties on civilians. The pivotal attack came on August 26, 2011, when a Boko Haram militant drove a car packed with explosives into the perimeter of the UN building in Abuja, killing 23 people. Not only was this only the second example of a suicide bombing in modern Nigerian history, Boko Haram had committed the first at Abuja's police headquarters several weeks earlier. But the blatant attack on the UN drew international attention to Boko Haram for the first time. It was an embarrassment for the Nigerian government, who just 2 years earlier had declared the group destroyed. They were also undermined by accusations that Boko Haram had bribed security services to look the other way during the purchase and transport of the explosives. Since 2011, the group has vastly expanded its bombing campaign. Bus stations, hospitals, police stations, and schools are just some of the targets. What's more, the group has used women and even children to carry out these attacks. One 2017 study estimated that over 50% of the group's bombers were female. As for children, one UN study concluded that at least 30 attacks were committed using children in 2016, with the youngest being just 7 years old. Chillingly, attacks using children showed a higher average casualty rate than adult bombers. Boko Haram's violence is not entirely indiscriminate. Leaders who have spoken out against it find themselves and the people they represent targeted. In May 2014, one such critic, the 72-year-old emir of the city of Gwoza, Idris Timta, was murdered in an ambush by Boko Haram. Several days later, Boko Haram militants committed sweeping massacres around Gwoza, killing at least 300 civilians in scattered villages nearby. This was partially punishment and partial preparation for a large-scale attack in August 2014, where Boko Haram occupied the city and turned it into a base of operations. A similar show of collective punishment was seen at the Grand Mosque of Kano in November of that same year. Like in Gwazo, the local emir had been critical of Boko Haram and urged citizens to take up arms to fight them. The group responded by sending 2 bombers to detonate in the city's Grand Mosque during Friday prayers. When survivors tried to escape, Boko Haram...
Damn, they don't got no respect. They even bombing fucking mosque. I didn't think that no Muslim would go that far. That's far to prove a point. I thought that they would just like go to schools or, places where, I guess it's everyone is at, but mosque, that's pretty low. Killing your own people.
Did you notice that village that they razed down? There were some people in hijabs,
Yes.
so
I didn't
they
even
didn't care whether it was fellow Muslims living there or not. They just don't care.
The
That's what
parts where
confuses me.
most of these bombings and unalivings have happened are predominantly Muslims. These are predominantly Muslim areas. So, like it or not, Muslims will be caught in the whatever it is that they're doing there. I don't understand it. I still trying to figure this out. What is the end goal? What are
Right, that
we,
confuses me.
Reggie? These parts, right? These parts, very deprived parts of Nigeria. The rate of poverty very, very high. And Reggie, these parts of vessel, when I say hot, humid, huh? The weather alone is already terrorizing you. The weather itself is already Boko Haraming you, right? Hot. Think about, really hot weather, no power, you're poor, right? And then someone is coming to bomb you on top of that. What is it? How
They
can
need
life
somebody.
be that bad?
Their strategy is just off. You see what I'm saying? Like, okay, so at least almost half the population is Christian. You could take them bombings and hit them. I mean, I'm not proposing this or telling you to do this shit, but it seemed like you would have more followers that go along with what your process
But they
is.
do that already, Reggie. They do fighting between themselves, the Christians and the Muslims.
I get it. I get it. But what I'm saying is, if you're trying to get somebody to side with you, you can't be hitting your own fucking people. Now, the UN shit, I get it. Okay, if you put the UN thing in our neighborhood, we bombing it because we don't want none of your Western shit over here. I feel that. But for you to hit a mosque and you're Muslim,
Mm,
now these people can't even pray. So now you're just putting everybody in a place of fear. And I get that's a tactic too. But you got to pick a side because the same Muslims is going to turn their back on you. That's where they stupid at.
mm.
Haram gunned them down. 120 people were killed and 250 were injured. For Boko Haram, any critics of its mission are automatically enemies and traitors to Islam and deserve the same treatment that the group hands out to more conspicuous enemies of its cause, such as Christians. To Boko Haram, Christianity represents not just colonialism and westernization, but a direct attack on its Islamic view of society and the world. Sheko himself stated in 2010 that we want to fight Christians. We want to break your cross. We want to demolish all the churches. By 2017, the Anabaptist Church of the Brethren in Nigeria estimated that over 11,000 of its members had been killed, and 70% of its churches in Boko Haram affected regions had been destroyed. Even medical workers, whose medicine is seen as another symbol of forbidden westernization, have been targeted, such as the 9 medical workers who were killed in the city of Kano for distributing polio vaccines in February 2013. But it is against education that Boko Haram has committed some of its fiercest crimes. Between 2009 and 2014, it destroyed an estimated 209 schools at a cost of some $15 million to the government. It committed several massacres and abductions of students and teachers at these schools. For example, a massacre at an agricultural college in Gujba in September 2013 saw militants gun down 40 people at student hostels. Another attack in February 2014 at the federal government college in the town of Buniyadi saw another 59 students killed in horrific ways before the school was burned down. These attacks sent shockwaves through Nigeria. Many schools and universities closed out of fear that they would be next. This, of course, was exactly what Boko Haram wanted. Every day these schools were closed was another day Nigeria was free from the Western ideas these institutions were spreading to their students. However, when it comes to school attacks, it is the kidnappings that have grabbed the most headlines. On the night of April 14, 2014, a convoy of Boko Haram militants descended on the Christian village of Chibok. A detachment of militants broke off to attack the small Nigerian military squad stationed there, but the bulk of the attackers continued to their target, the government girls' secondary school. Dressed in uniforms of the Nigerian armed forces, the militants entered the boarding school in the middle of the night. According to survivors, the militants were originally there to steal an engine from construction equipment, but when they didn't find it, they chose to kidnap the students instead. 276 girls were then forced into trucks and taken away. A handful managed to escape by jumping from the trucks, but most were taken for years of captivity. Boko Haram's overall goals in the kidnapping are up for debate. It was, in part, a statement of power. Surviving girls also reported that conversion was a high priority, and that they were subjected to Islamic lessons and forced to wear the hijab by their captors. A few of the militants attempted to marry the girls, and some were reportedly forced to become concubines to their kidnappers. The kidnapping grabbed global headlines and led to sweeping condemnation from all corners of the world. The hashtag Bring Back Our Girls campaign turned Boko Haram into a familiar.
I just think, I mean, I'm glad that they did that, but I think that that campaign should have started a little bit before that. Like, that's at the point of no return right there. Um, they should have definitely did something or asked. I don't know if they asked for any outside help from other nations, or or what, but that should have made news and been a bigger priority. And that's a shame that they got to that point.
Now, we've seen the so-called powerful nations intervene and step in to get rid of leaders that they deemed unsuitable. Yet this group, this particular group, nobody stepped in to do anything. We've seen them
Right.
go to Iraq. We've seen them go to Afghanistan. But
I'm going to
I'm
give
yet
pushback.
I'm yet to see them do anything in African nations
I'm
to
going to
bring
give
stability
pushback.
to Africa. Oh, go
I'm going
ahead,
to give
please, Afro.
pushback on what you're saying.
Okay.
Um, if this bothered the Nigerian people so much, before you start getting other people to intervene, what are you doing yourself? What are you doing? Right? What are the actions? What are the steps that you're taking? Um, and when these girls were taken, the world, they reacted. The world, even what's her name? Um, um,
Michelle
Obama.
Obama.
Obama. Yes, yes, she was a very active person talking about this. I'm going to find the video. The president's wife, Nigerian president's wife, right? I want you to see how she reacted to the mothers of the children that were taken away. And when you see that, you have to ask yourself, if this is how these people are being treated by their own people, then how what are the other people outside going to do? It's like victimizing the victims. Give me a minute. Let me see if I can find it. So I no, before we can get people to come and intervene, shouldn't we start by doing something? Shouldn't we, you know, it
Yeah,
was
but
I hear you,
pathetic.
Afro.
It was
I hear
pathetic
you.
what this woman did. Pathetic.
Yes, I hear you, and I agree with you. However, in Iran, in Iraq, they didn't wait for the people to do or say anything. In Libya, they didn't wait for the people to do anything. This group is not threatening any of the interests in any way, shape, or form of these big five that they call themselves the big five. Uh, so therefore, they're not interested. Let them unalive each other. Let them go ahead and do what they're doing. It's got nothing to do with us. But they were
well,
quick to step in to take in Ukrainian refugees. Right now, African countries cannot claim asylum in the UK because apparently it's not an active war zone. So it's we're only good for what we provide them. But once their interests are threatened, then they'll step in. If they're not being threatened, then nobody's going to say anything. They'll just look, comment, and it's another day in paradise.
exactly same thing here. The Ukrainians came here. They sought asylum, rightfully so, no problem. The Haitians came here, sought asylum, rightfully so, because their country is war torn. A lot of it is because of the United States, but that's another story. Um, Now all of a sudden, there's just this big deal about them being here, and they're looked at as criminals. Nobody looks at the Ukrainians as criminals. So again, they're picky with it, and I don't like that. I don't like that shit at all.
They're still praying. They 10 years after the girls were taken, they're still praying. So I don't know. I'm trying to find the video, but I think wait, let me do something. Reggie, can I share my screen, please?
No, no, I'm joking. I don't see the thing on there yet.
Yeah, yeah, just 1 second. I haven't shared it yet.
Okay.
Let me show- when is Madame Vessel going to get her laptop hooked up?
Can you not hear me?
No,
Yeah,
no,
we hear
no.
you.
I'm saying I need to get
You want me
you.
to share? You want me to share screens as well?
No, yeah, we have to get you. Okay, so let's do this.
Okay.
Can are you sharing my screen, Reggie?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's on the screen.
right. All right, thank you.
Let me get a refill real quick. I'm gonna push mute.
Okay.
We'll take it back now to the emotional uh, display by the First Lady, Mrs. Patience Jonathan, on hearing news of the latest on the abduction of the girls from Chibok Secondary School in Borno State. Earlier today, we learned that the State's Commissioner for Education, Musa Kubo, told the First Lady the school failed to act on the directive requesting maximum security for schoolgirls writing their examinations. A First Lady, Patience Jonathan, was was reported to have broken down in tears after he acknowledged that the examination board insisted that they provide adequate security before the exams, but that the school failed to provide that security. A meeting took place this evening where the First Lady also found out that no standby generator was provided for the school throughout the period of the examination.
Do you come with two teachers? You were not informed too? Eh? Continue. No problem. God will see us. There is God. There is God in everything we are doing. Those bloods that are sharing in Bronu will answer. What of two teachers, WAEC, what of two teachers that can tell us that they conducted that exam?
She is in a meeting. As soon as it happened, she called for the staff of the school and the parents of these kids that their children have gone missing, right? They thinking that this woman is about to, what is she going to do for us? What's she going to? So now she's talking to the staff, two teachers. Huh? You were not informed too? Continue. God will see us. God will see us. Huh? She will soon start crying in a minute. She will soon start. This was
Afro,
disgraceful.
I only know this clip. I'm very familiar with this clip,
This
but
one.
I know it as a meme.
It is a meme because let me tell you, it had it all packed. Everything you need in a this was good. Because she became a meme
There is
after this.
God or yeah, there is
She
God
became
or part of it.
this. Yeah,
Do you
Ridiculous.
come with any?
she's talking to
Principal?
teachers and principal.
No, too.
No,
You only you waka come. Okay.
only you walked here by
Now
yourself.
the first lady is calling you. Come, I want to help you. Come to find your child, your missing child. Will you keep quiet? Child,
Chai,
child.
I
There is God. Oh.
hey, this woman. She said, eh? The president's wife is calling you to come and look for your missing child. Will you keep quiet? No. Chai, there is God. Oh, this woman. I need to hear this. It's been a long time I heard this. The first time I heard this, I felt like I could go in my screen and squeeze somebody's neck because I felt like this is you're sat there. I can imagine the faces of the people looking at you. They're desperate, wanting their children back, and you talk to them in this manner. Someone wants a slap.
Do you come with two teachers? You were not informed too? Eh? Continue. No problem. God will see us. There is God. There is God in everything we are doing. Those bloods that are sharing in Bronu will answer. What of two teachers, WAEC, what of two teachers that can tell us that they conducted that exam? Do you come with any? Principal? No, too. You only you waka come. Okay. Now the first lady is calling you. Come, I want to help you. Come to find your child, your missing child. Will you keep quiet? Child,
Chai,
child.
chai,
There is God.
there is
Oh.
God. Oh.
There is God. Oh. The bloods we are sharing, there is God. Oh. There is God. Oh. There is God. Oh. There is God. Oh. There is God. Oh.
It's bullshit.
First Lady Patience Jonathan heartbroken at the latest discovery on the abduction of the girls from the government secondary school in Borno State.
So when your president's wife talks to you in that manner, what do you expect the rest of the world to do? Wait, they should come and intervene in what? The people who ought to be intervening. Look how they're treating the people. Those are the teachers. The teachers who were they were apparently there was an exam period, right? These teachers were during exams. Reggie, can you imagine being a teacher and while you're doing the exams, these people come into your school and take all your children away, right? And you're in a meeting with the parents and the children. Sorry, the parents and the staff. Can you imagine the emotional trauma that these people are going through? And this is how you talk to them. And sometimes I don't know. It just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart.
I don't
First
really think
lady
I don't really think sometimes they be knowing
of
what
my
be coming out their
nation.
mouth. Because like, why would you sit there and say, "But God is in this"? God. Well, bitch, if he is, fuck him too. Like, why are you equating this to a good situation that God is providing for you? You are literally saying it's this nigga's fault. So why do you think a person wants to hear that? He's not doing shit. For all you know, these kids can be dead. Hopefully they're not. But God is not good in that situation, and I don't know why she would think that somebody would even equate that to that. She sounds fucking stupid. I can't hear you. You're muted, Afro.
Sorry, something else I wanted to show you. I forgot. Give me a minute. Let's see. Just give me a minute. Right. Okay. Uh, Reggie, I share my screen.
I don't see it yet.
Chibok, located in the southern part of Borno State, is about 125 kilometers from the capital, Maiduguri, at the heart of the Sambisa forest. On this day in Chibok, were abducted by Boko Haram terrorists and taken into the Sambisa forest. 10 years on, 179 of those students have either escaped or been released, but 92 of them remain unaccounted for. Several of the girls returned to their families as mothers, others as widows of late terrorists, very few lucky to return unmarried and or without children. Some of the parents were delighted to see their children on their return, regardless of their status. The others continue to wonder about the fate of their daughters. It was a free reign of emotions at the 10th year interfaith prayer service organized by parents of the abducted girls. Religious leaders and parents could not hold back their tears as various speakers recounted their ordeals and the efforts to get the remaining girls free.
A lot of girls has been
10 years on, we're in a church. We're in a church to go and, I don't know, pray. Thank God. I don't know. What are we doing here? The God that could not help these girls to begin with. Now we are back in the church.
The religion caused this problem. Why do they think religion's going to solve it?
Yeah, because it was the Islam. Don't forget, we're dealing Islam. That was
Oh,
Islam that did it. So maybe the Christian one can solve it. The Christian one can make it better.
mm-mm.
adopted in
Where
this
was the
country,
Christian one?
you know. But why our own is so exceptional? Up to these days, we are still having a lot of them missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what make us so much annoyed because of government give a series of promise that they will get these girls out.
There are so many efforts that my local government are doing to see that these girls are released. So many times we had security meetings, we challenge the militaries. We give them information.
Some of the parents of the girls still in captivity were in tears while recounting their experiences to Channels Television.
When the incident happened at that 14th April, in fact, we were all shocked. And even though we are still waiting to see how the government and even those that can help to see that this almost 10 years we didn't see our daughter, we are still praying for Allah to, go around the issue to
Allah
bring
took
them
her.
back for us alive.
I've been unhappy since I heard of our coming here, and I've been praying that our children return so I can also rejoice with others.
The Borno state government renovated and renamed the school to Government Secondary School Chibok 7 years after their abduction, turning it into a non-boarding school. The principal of the school, however, says discussions are ongoing to revert to the original status of boarding for both boys and girls.
The structure of the school has been expanded more than before, because currently we are having, in terms of every structure, we have enough. And in terms of the student, the population of students is also increasing, unlike the time when the school resumed. So really, the structure of the school is now fully in operation, and students and teachers are also okay with the system at the place that is Chibo. It's not a boarding school. We are operating on day basis.
To ensure the safety of the school, the Brigade Commander 28 Task Force Chibok, Brigadier General Bede Amako, sheds more light on the extra measures taken.
Efforts are being made at various levels, from the federal to the states, and especially in the military hierarchy, to make sure that we do all within our powers to make sure that these girls are out.
According to statistics released by parents of the abducted Chibok girls, 271 students were abducted on that unfortunate day. 57 girls escaped shortly after in 2014, while 103 were released through the interventions of the federal government, and 20 others were released by the efforts of the state government. But 92 students still remain in captivity.
So I think this is a case of they're still waiting for God to help them. God is still coming. He's coming.
So my
I
thing
noticed
is like,
something. After this horrible thing that has happened,
Mhm.
they did not, the people who are the community leaders did not renounce this religion. They
No,
didn't stop being Muslim.
no, they're not real
It's
Muslims. The people who did it are not real Muslims. This is the rhetoric. They are not real Muslims.
okay, if they're not real Muslims and they
Yeah.
are the real Muslims and they've been praying to Allah, why did Allah allow this horrible thing to happen
in His name.
in His name? Is
Yep.
it because it happened to the girls that it's not a problem? Would they have had something to say if it had happened to the boys?
Why? When they released the girls, right? Why the girls don't tell them where they was at? You was
They
there 10.
probably can.
Right. You was
Reggie,
there 10 years.
you're asking too many questions. These are the things. Who is the task force assigned
Hmm.
to the see the government has to be prepared for these kind of events. Who is the one going to be responsible? Who is i- i- there's nobody. It's crazy. It's crazy. So the questions that you're asking, they're very valid, but who's going to ask it? Who's going to go and do the follow up? Right? These people, Reggie, they don't understand all this. Sit down and come and talk to us, and let's you tell us where you've been so we can go. They only understand go, action, go, fight, kill, just dialoguing, and let's see.
I wonder if they
Waste
even
of
have
time.
therapy for these girls.
Some of them came back with babies. They
So
came back with
heartbreaking.
babies. Therapy. Only recently in Nigeria they started talking about mental health. It's not a thing. In many parts, mental health is meant what? Mental health.
Pray.
No, don't even don't. Mental health is not a thing.
Take it to a man of
Um,
God. I got like 5 minutes
yeah.
left on this video to play left too.
Okay.
But freedom for the girls was slow coming. While most of the girls have since been rescued, Nigerian authorities estimate that 93 girls still remain in captivity. The Chibok kidnappings earned Boko Haram plenty of media coverage, and it is believed that they inspired the group to conduct more abductions. There were numerous kidnappings, often on a smaller scale in the following years. 40 were taken from the village of Malari in January 2015, 110 girls from Dapchi in February 2018, and more than 300 male students from a high school in the town of Kankara in 2020. These mass kidnappings continued until at least 2021, but the seeming fall of Boko Haram appears to have brought them to an end. Amidst Boko Haram's atrocities, the Nigerian government won a series of hard-fought victories that weakened the group throughout the 2010s. The 2015 West African offensive by a coalition of troops from Nigeria, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger successfully dislodged Boko Haram from its headquarters in Gwoza and drove them into exile in the Sambisa forest. By late 2016, the Nigerian government declared that Boko Haram no longer controlled any territory and was now an insurgent group. The retreat of Boko Haram can be explained by a combination of its military enemies and its own internal struggles in 2015 and 2016. Following the rout from Gwoza in 2015, Abu Bakr Shekau pledged allegiance to the Islamic State. The Islamic State's surge of success in the Middle East at that time made it a tempting ally for Islamist radicals around the world, and a natural choice for Shekau's alliance. However, IS was less fond of Shekau than he was of them. In 2016, they attempted to seize power over Boko Haram. By naming Abu Musab
Reggie,
al-Barnawi as
what
the
was going?
official leader in West Africa.
Commercials.
This caused a schism that split Boko Haram in two. Shekau took a group of his loyalists and continued as Boko Haram, while al-Barnawi presided over the new Islamic State's West Africa provinces, ISWAP. The two groups pursued similar goals in the following years, but diverged in methods. ISWAP toned down violence against civilians compared to Shekau's group, and established itself as a more palatable alternative to the common people. By 2019, ISWAP had out-recruited Shekau and outnumbered Boko Haram by more than 2-1. It also employed more aggressive suicide bombing techniques against the government, better combat training for its troops, and allegedly drones supplied to them by allies from the Middle East that gave them an edge. By 2021, their differences had become irreconcilable, or perhaps ISWAP simply felt it was time to remove a loose end. The two groups were functionally in open warfare by the start of the year. This led ISWAP to mount a coordinated strike on Shekau's strongholds in the Sambisa forest in May. During the fighting, ISWAP overwhelmed Boko Haram and cornered Shekau, who detonated an explosive vest to avoid being captured. With Shekau dead and most of its fighters defeated, Boko Haram crumbled. A small faction of Shekau loyalists continued under a new leader, but the victory of ISWAP in May 2021 functionally eliminated Boko Haram, at least for a time. With Sheko's death in 2021, there were hopes that Boko Haram might be done for good. However, the killing of 37 people in Yobe State in November 2023 by alleged Boko Haram members following a failed extortion attempt says that the group still clings on. It might be on its last legs, or it might recover and become the menace it was in its heyday once again. Boko Haram might not be the longest lasting or the most widely distributed terror group, but its colossal body count makes it one of the deadliest on the planet. Since it began, it has claimed an estimated 50,000 lives, most of them civilians, on top of countless others wounded and displaced. Even if it disappears, Boko Haram was not the first, nor will it be the last terror group that the people of West Africa have to contend with. And the legacy of Boko Haram's crimes will linger long after its perpetrators have disappeared.
Now, I was not aware of that.
Me neither.
I was not aware of that.
What?
Wow.
What? Aware of what?
That there was a new group.
ASWAP.
The
Yeah.
Yeah, I was not aware of that. Never heard of it, and I was not aware that they actually waged war against Boko Haram and
They did.
killed the leader. I was not
The
aware
leader
of
is
that.
the leader is gone.
So,
Mm.
so why is this news not being told to the rest of the world?
Right. I
Well,
never heard of
it's.
that.
I heard that the leader had died. I heard that, but I didn't know the details of, what had happened. So I didn't know it was ISWAP that went ahead and did that. It's I don't know, just crazy.
That's
This
very
is why I appreciate these discussions. I learn so much. I
Yes.
learn so much from them. Like every week, it's like something new.
right because I
Yeah.
definitely wasn't aware of none of that. I heard of a Islamic extreme group in
Hmm.
Nigeria. I just didn't know what their name was. I never knew none of this stuff, and they kind of have some recent shit. You know what it said, November 2023. So that wasn't that long ago. So they're still active,
Mm.
but it's just a typical gang like how they have here. Like the original ideas of the gang are one thing, and then as later years come and other leaders come, the ideas change. They get killed, then somebody else just picks up the name. Now I'm Boko Haram. So it'll never end. It'll be somebody else that's going to pick it up and try it again later after the next leader gets killed or whatever. So, but what is interesting is how I was saying earlier about how why would he keep on attacking his own people, like civilians, other Muslims, especially if you're trying to recruit other Muslims to push this narrative and this Sharia law. Why are you killing your own people? There's plenty of Christians that you can target. And that's exactly what took him down. Another group came around that wasn't violent towards his own, like him, and they all turned on him and he crumbled. Typical.
I find it strange that they're anti-West in terms of even medication that keeps you alive. How could you be against children getting vaccinations? Who does that?
There's people here like that. But when they said that was kind of weird too. Not the medicine part, but if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Muslims create algebra?
That's what I've heard. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
When we debate with them, they act like they didn't made up all this damn technology. And if, I mean, I'm sure they made some, but
Well, Reggie, I would take it with a pinch of salt because if they believe that a man's balls is in the base of the spine,
that's
how? No, no, I don't know. Pinch of salt for me.
that's true. And then on top of that, aren't these Islamic schools that they're hitting? That don't make
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
That don't
No,
that
well,
don't make
no.
sense.
I think some of these were Christians. It looks like some of these were Christians, but this is a predominantly Muslim area, but some of them were Christians.
Right. And it
So
seemed like oh sorry, go ahead.
when they went and grabbed the girls, they'll ask them if you're Muslim. If you're not Muslim, you have to convert to Islam. So we forced conversions done after the girls were taken.
Right. So I guess that would make them Christian or like non-Muslim or whatever. But I just thought because they were in a predominantly Muslim area, and the pictures that they're showing of the attack victims, they all got that thing on. I don't know the exact name of it, but that the thing that covers their hair, was it a veil or
The
whatever?
hijab.
The hijab, yeah, the hijab. A lot of them, the pictures of people crying when we was watching the videos, that's what they were showing. So I don't know. Yeah, you're right, NJ. Americans do the same rhetoric in a way. You're right.
Now, just looking at the information, it says Nigerian authorities believed that Shekau was unalive, was killed in 2009 during clashes between security forces and Boko Haram. Now, even his death, take with a pinch of salt, just because
Facts.
no, there was no evidence of his death. Yeah, nobody was found. No, so for a man who was so strategic, a man who, had all these, people around him and everything to die in such a manner, I don't know. I just, yeah, I find that really hard to believe, and yeah, that the Nigerian authorities believed that he was killed in 2009 during the clashes between the security forces and Boko Haram. Mm.
Maybe he got blew to smithereens, and there's a whole bunch of little pieces of him.
Or maybe he's walking among us here in Europe. Who knows? Anything is
Mm.
possible.
Hmm. So I'm glad that we definitely did this stream because I never knew none of that stuff. It's interesting to know about different parts of the world and religion as it concerns with it. What the rest of y'all got to do? I mean, what y'all got to do the rest of the day?
I was planning there's a gentleman I was trying to interview. We'd arranged this evening, but he's just messaged me. Um, I'm not sure if he's able to still have the conversation with me. So we'll have to wait and see.
I'm not doing nothing. Probably just watch football, get ready for tomorrow. Got to work.
I've got
Oh,
TikToks.
there was some information I wanted to quickly show you. Why did I forget? Wait, hold on. I wanted to show you this. Reggie, can I quickly share my screen? Because I feel
Hmm.
like this is important in this conversation.
Hold that
Um,
thought too, Vessa.
Okay.
okay, so this is from the U.S. Department of the Treasury. Right, the Treasury sanctions 6 individuals for raising funds in the United Arab Emirates to support Nigeria's Boko Haram terrorists. Right. So it says the Washington today, the U.S. Department of Treasury Office of Foreign Assets and Control designated a network of 6 individuals. Designated a network of 6 individuals connected to Nigeria's based terrorist group. So, Vessel, for you, you were saying about sanctions and intervening. I guess this is them intervening. All 6 of them were found guilty of establishing a Boko Haram cell in the United Arab Emirates to raise funds for and provide material assistance to Boko Haram insurgents in Nigeria. So the OFC's actions follow arrests and prosecutions and designations in the United Arab Emirates in September 2021, demonstrating the commitment of the Emirati group to using the judicial. Well, it goes on to name um, the people. The UAE Federal Court of Appeal in Abu Dhabi convicted Abdurrahman Ado Musa, Salihu Yusuf Adamu, Bashir Ali Yusuf, Mohammed Ibrahim Issa, Ibrahim Ali Al Hassan, and Surajo Al Bubakar Muhammad for transferring $782,000 from Dubai to Boko Haram in Nigeria.
I wonder what they get out of that.
For me, I expected, for example, the US government to storm Nigeria, to storm that area,
Hmm.
infiltrate. You know, the way they got Bin Laden?
Yes.
That's what I was expecting.
They have
That's
to have
what I
an
was
interest.
expecting, to be honest. Yeah, true.
But Nigeria does have a lot of damn oil, so
Mm. Well, these parts where the Boko Haram, there's no oil in them areas at all. No, none. No oil in that region. Mm-mm.
mm.
So,
So what was you saying, Vessel, that you got going on the rest of the day?
Oh, I'm getting messages of TikTok to do a live stream.
like
So
TikTok is asking you to do a stream.
yes,
Mhm.
apparently I should also join in all the rewards that are going around. Are y'all getting rewards or something from TikTok?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
They sent
I
me a
mean,
message to like go live today, be a part of the rewards. I'm like, okay.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna probably join you. I ain't got nothing else better to do besides cook and again get ready for tomorrow.
So
Got to work in the morning.
yeah, I'm all for supporting Afro if she's gonna go live, but if not, then I'll go live.
I I'm gonna see what the gentleman is doing, and if not, then we'll go live on TikTok. And today I'm actually thinking of something completely different.
Okay.
It is a divisive. Well, it's emotive, it's divisive, and it is, yeah, it's one of those. It's about feminism.
All right.
I want to talk
Interesting.
about feminism, and yeah, I know it's going to get a lot of the men them, the men them. They're going to be very very hot and bothered. Hmm.
I
So
don't know
yeah,
why.
I'm thinking
I,
about
It's their religion, Reggie. Their religion is anti-women,
no
anti-women
vessel
rights.
vessel.
Hmm.
Even people who aren't religious, watch them. You see, watch what will happen.
Really?
Even people who are
Oh,
not
I'm getting
religious.
in on this.
Hmm.
why do any person give a fuck what the next person do? I don't understand that. I just don't. That concept cannot grasp my mind. What makes me think that I should be able to control what's good for you?
Godless dating. I was planning
That
to do
shit is
godless
weird.
dating, but I don't know. Um, Godless dating. Maybe give it 1 week break. Maybe. What do you all think?
It's up to you.
Give it a
It's
one
up
week
to
break
you,
because
but to be honest, the more you do something and becomes regular and people look forward to it, the more popular it gets, the
Mhm.
more involved people become.
okay, I could just
So I don't know.
run it for an hour and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Everything
could do that.
everything takes
What
repetition, doing it over and over and over.
That's
yeah.
true. That's
What
true.
time were you thinking of going live?
Mm, so it's nearly 7 p.m. We're sorting dinner now, and yeah, let's say about half an hour.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna start cooking too. Then cut this
Okay,
football on.
Half an
football is
hour,
on.
that's like
NFL.
Mhm.
do you
Okay.
want to make it 8 o'clock, Afro?
Um. Okay.
All right.
All
Why?
right.
You got something to go do?
No, I'll go on now.
Okay.
Just for a
Yeah.
bit.
Go on. Go on and do it. Go on.
Okay.
I want to thank everybody, especially both of y'all, for stopping by as always.
Thank you.
Thank you, NJ. Thank you, Mr. Anti-Idiotic. Thank you, Maya, who stopped by today. Thank you, Susan, as always. You're such a big help always. Thank you, Denisha. Who else? Um, I'll be back Wednesday with AAA Podcast Sports. Maybe Friday for Product of the 80s podcast. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on in the media that I really have been wanting to talk about. Just haven't found the time. More Diddy allegations. It's like that story is never going to end. The Cardi B stuff could be talked about. So I'm probably going to try my best to get on that real soon. Um, Thank y'all again for coming on, for checking this out. I'm about to cut on the music, y'all. Good night.